You basically walked into a store, made deep eye contact with a tiny, chaotic creature and said, "Oh yeah, that's me." Whether you grabbed a goldfish, a betta, or decided to create a full-on Hunger Games situation with African cichlids, your choice says everything about you. And honestly, some of you need to sit down and have a serious talk with yourselves. So grab a snack, sit back, because today we're dragging everybody, no exceptions. Listen, if your favorite fish is a goldfish, you are one of two people. Either someone who grossly underestimated what they signed up for, or someone who now has a water testing kit, 3 backup filters, a 75-gallon tank in your living room, and a mild caffeine addiction fueled by regret. Goldfish are not pets. They're a full-time roommate who never pays rent and destroys everything in their path. They need huge tanks, powerful filters, and constant maintenance because they poop more than a lactose-intolerant person at an all-you-can-eat cheese buffet. You bought one thinking, "Oh, cute little bowl, buddy." But what you actually brought home was a food-obsessed garbage disposal with no brakes and the metabolism of a hyperactive 6-year-old at a Chuck E. Cheese. You are the king or queen of underestimating situations and overcompensating later. You've spent hours researching how big do goldfish get, only to find out your small baby is about to turn into a literal football with fins. Your Uber Eats budget's probably in shambles. Your plans to keep it simple are a distant memory, and your goldfish are currently staging an uprising in your undersized tank. And you're just coping through the chaos with an iced coffee and prayer. You didn't adopt a fish. You accidentally took custody of a food-obsessed toddler that will outlive half your major life plans. Good luck, bestie. Nobody picks up Betta by accident. You saw that sad little floof ball in a terrible plastic cup under flickering Petco lights, and you immediately made emotional eye contact and decided you were gonna be its savior. You give a I can fix them energy. I rescued traumatized beings for fun energy. And honestly, a little bit of start 6 projects at once energy. All right, this one's calling me out here. Betta care is not just toss it in a vase and pray, even though all the marketing at the chain pet stores tried to convince us otherwise. Honestly, they need at least 5 gallons of a heated tank, gentle filtration, stable warm-up temps, high-protein diets, and personal space. They are tiny, floating rage monsters. They hate other bettas. They will beef with shrimp, some will beef with snails, some will beef with water bubbles. If you're a betta person, you're soft, but you're feral. You emotionally attach too quickly. You overthink DMs for hours. You see something broken, and you're already buying the glitter glue and duct tape to fix it. You're a mother, a therapist, a crisis hotline, and a sometimes unwilling Uber driver for your fish. You are the betta's entire world. And you know what? You wouldn't change a thing, even though this little fish bullies you daily. You saw an angelfish once. Long fins, graceful swimming, big, serene aquatic royalty energy, and immediately you decided, that guy's my dream fish. In your mind, your tank was supposed to look like an elegant underwater museum. Tall plants, gentle water currents, everyone living in peace. But in reality, you recreated season 14 of Keeping Up with the Cichlids. Angelfish are petty, territorial, and vaguely violent. Yeah, they'll square up against any fish that looks at them sideways. They will stare down your Tetras, claim random objects as mine, and swing on a guppy with zero hesitation. If angelfish are your vibe, you are deeply extra. You're the main character at all times, and you've definitely been accused of causing drama in a group project or among your friends, but you just call it leadership. If you also operate on a strict social hierarchy, yeah, close friends only. Strangers must pass 5 hidden loyalty tests before getting access to your soft side. You didn't want a peaceful tank. You wanted a courtroom drama, filmed in 4K staring right back at you. And you know what? We do respect the hustle. You don't just own an Oscar, you survive an Oscar. If you have one, you already know. You've accepted the chaos. You wake up every day and choose violence with them. Respect. Oscars are not your average pet. They're huge, growing up to a foot long, and they've got the appetite of a linebacker and impulse control of a raccoon in a candy store. They don't live in tanks, they run tanks. They will redecorate that tank without asking. They'll destroy plants, knock over decorations, stir up gravel, and rearrange the entire landscape because they got bored at 2 a.m. And not only that, Oscars are incredibly smart too. They can recognize their owners, beg for food, sulk when ignored, and no joke, spit water to knock crickets or insects into their tank if given the chance. They've got golden retriever energy if it was raised exclusively by anarchists, and their care is no joke either. They need massive tanks, think 75 gallons minimum for just one. That is if you don't want them smashing into the glass every time they get startled. You need strong filtration, impeccable water quality, and enough patience to survive the day that they decide to hate the new rock that you lovingly placed in their setup. Oscars are messy, moody, and wildly overdramatic. They're the chaotic good of the aquarium world, and if you willingly choose one, honestly, king behavior. May the odds forever be in your favor. If your favorite fish is Discus, you aren't just an aquarist, you're a full-blown suburban dad energy packed into a 23-year-old with an anxiety disorder and 2 hydro flasks. You didn't buy Discus. Discus chose you because they knew that you'd have the vibe of someone who measures water parameters at 2 a.m. while quietly sobbing into your HelloFresh order. Oh, I know I'm preaching to somebody. Owning Discus means committing to perfect water, daily water changes, steady temps around 84 degrees Fahrenheit, and soft water that would make regular tap water look like a war crime. If your parameter swings even half a point, your Discus go full Victorian fainting couch, and you spiral right along with them. You're probably the friend who sends spreadsheets before a casual group trip to Olive Garden. Your fridge is covered in sticky notes, and half your camera roll is screenshots of other people's tank setups that you plan to eventually do. Yeah, sure, I'm sure you'll get around to it someday. You're also silently judging everyone else's aquariums. Don't deny it. Someone shows you their neon gravel Betta tank, and you just tilt your head and say, oh, okay, that's cool. You know, with the energy of a Starbucks barista spelling your name wrong on purpose. You didn't just buy fish, you entered an emotional support arrangement with tiny aquatic therapists who need daily check-ins to survive. And you love it. You wouldn't have it any other way, even though it's slowly aging you like a forgotten avocado. If guppies are your favorite, babe, you're in the trenches and you don't even know it. Guppy people walk into a pet store thinking, oh, just a cute starter fish. What they accidentally create is an entire multi-generational dynasty faster than the average reality show family tree. You start with 6, and within 3 months you're hosting Wet Woodstock and giving away fry on Facebook Marketplace like you're running an MLM for tiny colorful chaos machines. And the absolute delusion is incredible. Guppy owners will be 600 guppies deep, all chewing on each other's tails because the tank's packed tighter than sardines, and still be out here adding just one more pretty fish from the store. You didn't just start a hobby, you started a cult, dude. You've got favorite children, you name them. You secretly ship pairings. You pretend you're gonna go Cole the weaker fry, but you never do, because you have attachment issues. Somewhere in the middle of a Tuesday night, you find yourself researching selective guppy breeding at 1:37 a.m., fully convinced you're about to create the next designer guppy strain that will change the hobby forever. Also, let's be real. Guppy owners are emotionally attached to the ugliest fry in the batch. You see that one guppy with a weirdly bent tail and patchy color and you think, special, precious, God's favorite. You didn't choose guppies, guppies chose you, and they are never giving you your life back. If your favorite fish are African cichlids, congratulations! You're the human embodiment of, I don't want drama, but I will light the match. You didn't just want fish, you wanted color, chaos, political earnest, and a tiny little dose of aquatic blood sport every time you feed them. You saw peaceful planted tanks on Pinterest and said, no thanks, but in the most aggressive way possible. African cichlids come in brilliant hues of blue, red, and yellow, like Skittles but with trauma, and they carry all that rage from evolution directly to your living room. They are petty, they are territorial, and they will declare war over every single rock and hold a grudge for life. You can stack the tank with rock caves and visual breaks. You can overstock the tank on purpose. It doesn't matter. Within a week, one cichlid has decided it's CEO of the tank, and everyone else is now on probation. Cichlid owners are reality TV producers who pretend they aren't messy. You set up the situation, you know what's about to happen, and you still act surprised when the tiny drama queens start throwing fins. Also, breeding behavior is pure soap opera. Mouth-brooding females will vanish into a corner protecting their fry like overworked daycare workers during flu season, while the males are literally fighting their reflections into submission. If African cichlids are your favorite, you are definitely the person who accidentally brings up controversial opinions at group dinners just to see what happens. You're spicy. You're strategic, and you're one territorial rock pile away from declaring independence. Tetras being your favorite fish tells me one thing for certain. You live in straight-up denial, but you've made it aesthetic. You bought Tetras dreaming of synchronized swimming squads, soft planty tanks, fairy lights, matcha lattes, and mental health walks. The soft girl aquarium fantasy, and you got tiny aquatic gremlins. Tetras look innocent enough. They're shimmery, they're cute, they're literally Lisa Frank stickers come to life. Remember those? But underneath that sparkly exterior, stress, anxiety, minor gang violence, and endless pettiness if you choose the wrong one. Like bad side effects on a pharmaceutical commercial. You drop a slow-moving Betta into that tank and Tetras immediately decide he's wearing free real estate on his fins and start nibbling. Maybe you add a shy Gourami. Tetras smell weakness like a Twitter cancel mob and pounce. And you, sweet, soft Tetra owner, just keep sipping your overpriced oat milk latte going, "You're just playful," while literally half your tank is missing fin chunks. You're the human version of putting glitter on a dumpster fire and calling it a party. Tetra owners are emotionally resilient though, I'll give you that. You don't snap, you don't lose it, you just quietly adjust. Maybe add a few more plants, maybe rearrange the tank, maybe cry in the PetSmart parking lot, and then get back to pretending everyone's serene. If your favorite fish is Tetras, you're the CEO of it's fine, everything's fine, and you look fabulous doing it, I'll give you that. Next time perhaps you should be the peaceful Tetra, not the Exodon. You know what your favorite fish says about you? You're built for drama, but with a little bit of deniability. You're the kind of person who says, I don't like drama, I just like to know about it. And then somehow you're holding popcorn 3 minutes later watching it unfold. Barbs are fast, aggressive, but in a I didn't mean it bro kind of way, and mischievous little punks that thrive in a larger school. If you don't keep them in a big enough number, they're gonna be straight up your tank's local menace, bullying everyone because they're bored. You saw these hyperactive chaos goblins body checking each other across the pet store tank. And that made you think, yeah, that's the vibe I want at home. Barb lovers want energy. They want fish that don't just exist, they cause problems on purpose. And let's be honest, you're a little bit the same. You're the friend who keeps stirring the pot just slightly and then pretends you're keeping the peace when it boils over. Your favorite fish says you don't want calm, you want spice, and you'll deny it to your dying breath. Let's be real, if Rasboras are your favorite, you're not basic, you're deep. You didn't just pick a fish, you curated an aesthetic experience. You saw schooling fish that shimmer softly under low lighting and flicker like whispers across driftwood and Vallisneria leaves and thought, yes, softness, mystery, healing. Meanwhile, your Rasboras are stress huddling in a corner because you moved the driftwood half an inch. Rasboras need schools, not 3, not 5, real squads, like can fill an entire group photo squads. They prefer dim planted tanks with gentle flow, low nitrates, and high emotional support at all times. You love Rasboras because you're quiet chaos. You want beauty that's understated. You don't want your fish to scream at the glass, you want them to exist poetically. If Rasboras are your thing, you own at least one aesthetic tote bag, and perhaps you go to group meditation sessions. You worship Takashi Amano like the rightful founder of aquascaping that he is. Your favorite fish says you're mysterious on purpose, and yeah, it's working. The second you said, Corydoras are my favorite, you outed yourself. You're the chaotic, clumsy, sweet, loyal, mildly feral, and somehow still functioning friend. Corys don't walk, they wiggle, baby. They don't swim elegantly, they belly flop with enthusiasm across the substrate. And they need groups of at least 6, plus smooth sand, clean oxygen-rich water, and preferably zero judgment while they live their clumsy best lives. And they're immune to shame. They trip, recover, and pretend that they meant to do that. Just like you. You're the friend who burns the pancakes, but still gets asked to host brunch. You're the one everyone trusts with their problems, even though your own life is being held together by caffeine, memes, and sheer stubbornness. Cory lovers see innocence and go, I gotta protect that. You stand messiness, but only the wholesome kind. Your favorite fish says that you believe face planting is a valid lifestyle choice. And guess what? You're absolutely right. If Danios have your heart, I don't even need to ask how many notifications are sitting unread on your phone right now. I already know that it's 72. At least. Danios are tiny, torpedo-shaped, anxiety-powered missiles. They swim laps around the tank all day with the single-minded focus of someone procrastinating 47 urgent tasks. Danios need huge, open swimming space, fast water flow, oxygen-rich setups, and constant motion to thrive. Stillness? Oh, stillness is a death sentence to a Danio. Stillness is how their soul leaves their body. If Danios are your favorite, you're the type who needs 3 background noises playing at once to focus. You got 3 Chrome windows open, each with 11 tabs, and you think resting means running errands slightly slower than usual. You didn't pick graceful, slow, serene fish. You picked fish that lived life like they just shotgunned a Red Bull at every sunrise, because that's you. Running on vibes, caffeine, and barely restrained chaos, baby. Your favorite fish says that you're 50% dopamine, 50% cortisol, and 100% built for the grind. Nobody normal picks hatchet fish. If these weird little fish are your favorite, you're not just quirky, you're addicted to high-stakes living. You saw a fish that literally yeets itself out of the water for fun and said, "Oh yeah, that's the emotional support animal for me." Hatchet fish are surface dwellers with unique wing pectoral muscles that allow them to jump, and by jump, I mean full-on catapult themselves out of your tank if you so much as sneeze nearby. You need a tight, locked lid, low lighting, peaceful tank mates, and ideally a calm energy aura around the tank, or they'll just reenact the Wright brothers' first flight every time you blink. If hatchet fish are your favorite, you probably live life at a constant low-level state of anxiety that you call being detail-oriented. You're the kind of friend who triple checks the group chat plans but still packs 2 extra chargers just in case. You make backup plans for your backup plans, and you have serious, "I could survive the apocalypse, but I'd still bring lip balm" energy. Your favorite fish says that you crave adventure, but also you're 2 minor inconveniences away from launching yourself into the abyss right beside them. Picking Loaches as your fave isn't random. You're here for a good time, not a responsible time. Loaches, whether it's clown loaches, coolie loaches, or dojos, are nocturnal, silly, chaotic, and weirdly social. They love to hide all day and suddenly emerge like drunk frat boys at 2 a.m., mess with absolutely everything. They need large tanks. Clown loaches get huge, like football-sized huge, as well as some soft, sandy substrate so they can burrow with a ton of hiding spaces and preferably an audience for their midnight zoomies. If loaches are your thing, you're hilarious, you're spontaneous, you're down for anything until the vibe shifts to responsibility. Suddenly you're, "Oh, it's super busy, sorry." You don't clean as you go. You survive by chaotically going through messes, and somehow things magically kind of just work out for you anyway. You're also wildly loyal. You stick with your friends, your mess, and your tank drama, but you're gonna be 3 hours late and missing a sock, probably. Your favorite fish says you bring the energy, and you vanish once dishes are mentioned. You thought you were getting a peaceful centerpiece, something majestic, something serene. Wrong. You got an aquatic theater kid with beef, emotional swings, and serious "notice me or suffer" energy. Gouramis, especially 3 spots and sometimes the dwarfs, are intelligent, moody, territorial, and a little bit fake nice. They need tanks big enough to establish territories, slow-moving tank mates, and peace and quiet, or else they're running their own backstage fight club. They're labyrinth breathers too, meaning they can breathe air from the surface, which only adds to their "I'm special and above this" attitude. If Gouramis are your faves, you're someone who wants to be chill but ends up low-key being the main character no matter what. You get a little too emotionally invested in projects. You catch feelings easily. You say, "I'm fine," but you're 1 minor inconvenience away from staging an elaborate 1-act performance called "How could you do this to me?" You crave tranquility, but let's be honest, your life can't avoid the drama built into it. Your favorite fish says that you're the softcore drama magnet of your group that your friends secretly revolve around. Choosing Rams as your favorite fish says everything you need to know about yourself. You love beautiful, fragile, high-maintenance things because somewhere deep in your soul you believe love will save them. Ram cichlids, German blues, golds, Bolivians are small, stunningly colorful, incredibly delicate, and require the purest conditions known to man not to crumble into aquatic tragedy. They need soft, acidic water, high temperatures around 82 degrees Fahrenheit, immaculate water quality, and 0 stress, because even thinking about drama can give them an existential crisis. Owning Rams is basically living in constant, quiet dread. You feed them, you whisper affirmations to them, you light a candle for good luck, and still, one day they'll look at you sideways and decide that they're simply just done. If rams are your favorite, you are emotionally attached to red flags with good hair. You think healing is a team sport. You text your friends detailed life advice, and then you impulsively dye your hair at 3 a.m. while crying to Lana Del Rey playlists. You don't want easy. You want beautiful. You want the emotional depth of a romance novel in a 2-inch fish. You want soul. Your favorite fish says that you live for gorgeous tragedy, and you will ride or die for your messy little art projects no matter how chaotic they are. And there you have it. Your favorite fish has exposed your deepest personality flaws, unresolved childhood trauma, and questionable life choices. And honestly, it's honestly pretty beautiful. It's art. It's a little concerning, but it is art. If you feel personally attacked, congratulations, you have taste. Drop your favorite fish in the comments so I can roast you even more specifically, because this was just the warm-up, baby. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because let's be real, if you survived this level of roasting, you're definitely chaotic enough to stick around for more. Until next time, take care of your tanks, take care of your feelings, and remember, your fish are judging you harder than I just did.